Call the meeting to order. Christina will read the sentences under public contest.
The safety and decorum of the school board meetings are important to Stockton Unified School District and the community. SUSD promotes the public's right to free speech, and we want to make sure that all community members, parents, and students are able to participate in a safe environment. We want to ensure all community members have a seat during the board meeting. We will have the maximum number of chairs allowed per fire code, 132. We ask that members of the public do not stand along the side of the walls or block the walkway. Anyone standing up during the meeting will be asked to take a seat. If they do not comply, they will be asked to leave. Any accredited news media representative who is standing will have a press credential clearly visible. The podium is positioned in front of the first row of chairs. No one other than the person who is speaking may be at the podium except for a guardian, administrator, or translator. For safety, people may not line up behind the speaker to wait their turn. We want to give the person at the podium the time and respect they deserve. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. Attendees are not allowed to enter the area past the podium where the board members are sitting. No profanity or obscenity. During the board meeting, if there is a disruption, the board president or designee will give a verbal warning to the person or persons causing the disruption. If the disruption continues after the verbal warning, the individuals will be asked to leave or be removed from the premises for the remainder of the board meeting. After the board meeting is concluded, we ask community to clear the lobby area in a respectful manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Now we have item 1.2, roll call, taken by Christina. Back to you.
President Cecilia Mendez,
Present.
Vice President Ray Zulueta,
Present.
Clerk Alicia Rico,
Present.
Trustee Maria Mendez,
Present.
Trustee Zachary Avalar,
Present.
Trustee Scott McBrien,
Scott McBrien here.
Trustee Angel Ann Flores,
Trustee Angel Ann Flores here.
Student Representative Ms. Vanessa Morales.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Now we go to item 1.3, oral suggestions. Abby will read the announcement of the number of public comments. Thank you.
Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Trustees, we have 3 comment cards for item 1.3. First comment is from Gertrude Agbontayan regarding item 2.5.
Thank you, board member. Good evening, everybody. My name is Gertrude Agmontine. And as at on the 19th, I was a budget analyst here at Stockton Unified School District. My purpose of coming to be heard is not necessarily because I want to twist or make my case an exception. It's just that I want to be heard. If I was given the opportunity to be heard in the last 1 week, I wouldn't be here. But it doesn't seem like that's the case here. When I took the job here at Stockton, I knew it was going to be difficult. It wasn't going to be easy. And me transitioning from the charter here means I have a lot to learn. And I was willing to put that. But I was met with a lot of challenges, questions unanswered that would made my work almost impossible. And when I asked the questions, I was told I was asking too much. I was not given a single training, no single one-on-one check-in with my supervisor. At some point, I did not have a supervisor. Until 5 days before my evaluation, my supervisor was my former colleague. And she was the only one I understood had experience in budgeting. And she made it clear that my former supervisor, Leslie, had no knowledge of what she was doing. Neither does my director now, as at then, knew what was involved in budgeting because he was from accounting. He didn't have that. I knew that was trouble for me. When a colleague is telling you that every X, Y, and Z doesn't know anything, you know that's trouble. And then my CBO come in, she already started right off the bat. Issue that was not supposed to be aggravated. She couldn't manage it. And then the next thing I'm seeing in my evaluation is that I had conflicts with my colleagues that I was not able to manage. Every other person did an undo journals. Mine was a different situation. I'm pretty sure if we asked to see all the journals that were put in, mine was as the shortest list. Every other person would hop into our office. The only day I did that, she walked me out of the office and shamed me before everybody. She apologized. And I thought that was it. I didn't go to HR. But when I saw in my evaluation, that was it. I'm not saying it because I want to make a strong case for myself, but it's a practice that has to stop. We need to invest in our people. We need to invest.
Thank
Thank
Ms.
you for your
Gertrude.
comment.
Next comment is from Ms. Sylvia Cantu regarding item 2.3.
Okay. On July 26, 2002, this board approved the interim superintendent employment agreement. The district agrees to employ Miller, and Miller agrees to serve as interim superintendent for a term commencing on August 1st, 2022 and ending on June 23rd, 2023. Miller should be evaluated by the board pursuant to District Board Policy 2140. No later than September 13th, 2022. The board, in conjunction with Miller, shall develop goals for Miller as interim superintendent. Today is October 25th, and we're now just developing goals for Dr. Miller. According to 2140 board policy, the board shall determine with the superintendent's input the criteria, schedule, method, and instrument to be used for the superintendent evaluation. We've had board meetings August 23rd, regular board meeting, September 8th, special board meeting, September 13th, regular board meeting, September 27th, regular board meeting, and October 11th, regular board meeting. No superintendent evaluation was on there. On August 23rd, 2022, this board approved for approval for the issuance for request for proposals, RFP, recruit a permanent superintendent. The search should be conducted with appropriate speed and diligence. That was the maker. And the RFP for the superintendent recruitment and selection shall adhere to board policy 2120. And if you read board policy 2120, because there wasn't that much discussion when you passed this, even when two board members had asked questions. One of them is the board shall establish and implement a search and selection process that includes consideration of the scope of search, including whether to promote from within the district or broaden the search, including both internal or external candidates. Candidates will be considered whether to conduct a statewide or nationwide search. That wasn't even discussed. Then you're going to figure out whether to hire a professional advisor to facilitate the process. And then how and when the community in certain phases of the selection process will be used. Didn't even discuss that either. Then on October 11th, we had an agenda item for the RFP, and that was pulled. So basically, we're going to be in the month of November, and we're barely getting to the evaluations. You do know that the previous superintendent, those superintendent goals expired. It was only approved for the year 21 and 22. So what are the board goals and what's the superintendent goals? I think that's what we're covering. So it's kind of sad. Like I said, they should have been done by September 15th. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment.
Next comment is from Ms. Bernadette Armenta regarding item 2.4.
with me. I forgot my glasses. I might be able to get a little bit like this. Okay, good evening, everybody. We have some of the lowest paid employees in the district who pay some of the highest premiums. Recognizing this, CSEA made it clear to the district that it is a #1 priority in the spring. In the spring was the cost of health and welfare. A proposal was presented to cut the cost of our members. Now, almost 7 months later, we have not received a counter proposal. We have no clue how much the district can offer, and many of our members had to make a blind decision as to their health and welfare without knowing whether the decision would bankrupt them and their families. Is the district expecting our members to absorb the cost of health and welfare now? Food service employees haven't seen any raises in close to 5 years in the district because of salary schedule compaction and are paid at minimum wage, all while working in the 150-degree heat this summer with no air conditioning. And now the district, on top of that, is asking those same employees to pay almost 60% higher premiums because those hired underneath John Ramirez could not understand how to balance a budget. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Trustees, this concludes public comments for item 1.3. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Now we go, item 1.4 is to the board representative report by Ms. Vanessa Morales of Franklin High School.
Thank you, Madam President. Hello, everyone. So at Franklin High School, Plus is hosting a Unity Dance and live music will be playing there. All of the proceeds from this dance will be donated to Franklin student Julian Lemus to support his battle with leukemia. Franklin's drama department is hosting the annual haunted house, and ASB is helping celebrate our senior night this Thursday with a pink out student section to bring awareness to breast cancer. Franklin will have a college and career fair next week, as well as on this Monday, there will be a costume contest. This week, ASB is hosting Spirit Week to drive school spirit. This last Friday, we hosted our first Hall of Fame night, where Webster Slaughter, Tim Brown, Chris Cash, Al Gross, and Frank Strong were inducted into the Hall of Fame. PBIS hosted pancakes for staff to build community, as well as Franklin's counseling department is hosting all 9th graders for transcript reviews and reviewing graduation requirements. Counselors have already completed senior IGPs and are in the process of completing junior IGPs. Counselors are helping with a parent meeting to go over the A through G requirements. They are making direct contact with parents to invite them while intentionally targeting families of students who are failing classes. At Edison High School, their varsity football won its 5th straight SJAA championship last week and will be heading to the playoffs. Girls golf finished 2nd at the league tournament, best by 100 strokes. Girls varsity won its first playoff round since 2009 last night. The drama classes under the supervision of Miss Del Porto has worked hard to finish its annual haunted house at Edison High School. Students will have the opportunity to go through the haunted house during lunch and after school on Halloween. The Edison HS PLCs have been working hard to focus on student achievement and have successfully reduced F grades by 6% school-wide. Edison High School PLCs have focused on developing equitable grading processes, providing timely intervention for students, and provided students makeup and extra time during the fall intersession. Edison High School has focused on professional development for teachers and sent teams of teachers to trainings, including equitable grading practices, training to develop site-wise writing systems, and this past weekend participated in the CUE conference at the San Joaquin County Office of Education. Edison is scheduled to host a parent conference night tonight from 5 to 7 p.m., encouraging parents to drop by and meet with teachers to ensure students are successful. Edison High School, along with the 3 comprehensive high schools, is working with Delta College to develop more strategic collaboration and support of students and families seeking to transition to Delta College. At Stagg High School, their Girls golf made it to the team playoffs for the first time in over a decade. STAG participated in Share 911 training this past Thursday, preparing staff in case of an emergency. The SAT will be administered to STAG students and they will take it on Thursday, the 17th. Friday, October 21st, STAG seniors took the career exploration exam. And Friday, October 28th, STAG 11th graders will take the career exploration exam in coordination with the multiple branches of the military. On October 26th, STAG ASB will host a trunk or treat between the hours of 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. STAG clubs will be passing out candy to the community. There will be bounce houses, hay rides, temporary tattoos, snow cones, along with other fun activities for the community. This Friday, STAG students will take a field trip to San Joaquin Delta College. Students will meet with HBCU colleges, possibly getting college acceptance to some of the schools that are present. Friday, November 4th, STAG will host the FAFSA kickoff, giving students and parents instruction and guidance with filling out college financial aid paperwork. At Chavez High School, through the collaboration of their performing arts and CTE departments, Chavez will be holding an on-site haunted house. Chavez will also be hosting their second annual trunk or treat on Halloween. The Chavez football team celebrated their seniors at their senior night, October 21st. Their students attended the Career Technical Education event at the Stockton Fairgrounds, as well as their teachers and counselors are excitedly preparing for the HBCU event at San Joaquin Delta College. This week, we'll be hosting a PD for their teachers called Super Strategies, hosted by Ms. Flores and Dr. Gann. Thank you. That is all that I have.
Thank you. I would like to present Principal Osman Sharif, Principal of Weber Institute. Thank you.
Good evening, board members, Interim Superintendent Tracy, cabinet members and guests. Yeah, I am Osman Zarif, Principal at Weber Institute, and have the distinct pleasure of introducing Mr. Hector Rojas to you. Hector is a senior at Weber and has attended Weber since his freshman year. He has worked hard during this time and his hard work is paying off. He is top 5 in his class, senior class president, involved in Key Club and leadership, all while working on his senior project, which he can tell you more about. Senior project is a requirement of Weber, and I will make a shameless plug to invite you to join us in May to judge our senior projects. It is when students display the content knowledge and 21st century skills they have developed at Weber in a project that's designed to show you that when they leave Weber, they will be college and career ready. You will get invitations closer to that time. Back to the regularly scheduled program. Hector plans to go to college next year, and his dream school is UCLA. I present to you Mr. Hector Rojas.
Hello. Hi. Hello. Good evening, everybody. I wanted to take a small moment to talk about Weber Institute really quickly. If you couldn't tell, we're a really small school across the street. It looks like a little daycare. But I actually really do love the size of that school because it allows for much more personal connections with our peers and our teachers. I feel personally really connected to my teachers, and I know that they have the opportunity to be connected with us as well. Because of such a small size and such a small classroom size, each teacher can learn individually their students' characteristics, their personalities, and the best ways they learn. And I think that's a really big part of having such a small and homey school. And Weber tries really hard to make it such a homey school through several different outlets. I think leadership is probably one of our best examples. As a member myself, I know that we are working really hard at making it a very welcoming school. We're doing several different activities, these including things like dances, fundraisers, forums, carnivals, Spirit Week. On Friday, we just had our October dance. It went incredibly. I think it was probably the best dance we put on in my 4 years of high school. And I just know that Weber is really set on making a welcoming community. And if leadership isn't doing it for you, then I'm proud to say that Weber has incredible clubs as well. We have Skills USA, Comfort Club, Key Club, Esports, Skate Club, Auto Club. And the whole idea of this is to have communities for everybody. We want everyone to have a home. We want everyone to feel welcome. We want everyone to feel like they have their people. And that is also my goal. I'm senior class president, and I want to allow my fellow seniors to have an incredible year. This is one of the first normal years after COVID. It's a very strange time. I'm trying to fundraise as much money as possible. I want to host events. I want to fundraise for grad night. I want to fundraise for prom. I just want to put on the best year possible for my seniors, because also we're stressing very hard about our senior projects. I'm sure it's going to be quite the spectacle, but also it is really putting us to the test. I'm personally working on restoring a classic car myself. I'm sure maybe some of you can come see it. I would love that. I would love to present to at least one of you. And I'm working my best. I'm doing my best in the Auto Academy. And of course, I'm not sure if you guys know, but Weber Institute is separated into 3 academies: Auto, Health, and Technology. And each is very distinct, each is very welcoming, and each is very excellent at teaching their students different areas of knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sarif and Mr. Rojas. Our trustee, Maria Mendez, is gonna go and give a little certificate. And wherever you go, young man, good luck. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Hector Rojas, thank you for representing Weber Institute with pride and honor. I would like to say good luck on your endeavors, and very proud and congratulations with your actual achievements. So I am going to present you an award of appreciation on behalf of the Board of SUSD. Is your parents here? No, so we can take pictures with your teacher and Mr. Sarif and everybody else. Thank you.
May Trustee Flores address?
Yes, you can.
I will be the first to donate from my level $100 out of our discretionary funds to your fundraising account. So your principal can take a look at it, and it'll go for student incentives. You could pull it towards that department. Thank you. Very proud of you.
And then, hold on, this one too. This might just in case. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was great. Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you. 1.6, public employee discipline dismissal. Do we have anything there, sir?
President Mendez, there's nothing for that item.
Thank you. 1.7, board will consider in closed session. Items listed with closed session will be handled by Vice President Raymond Solera.
Thank you, Madam President, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here this evening. The items that we'll consider in closed session are 2.1, public employee appointment certificated. 2.2, public employee appointment classified. 2.3, public employee performance evaluation, interim superintendent. 2.4, conference with labor negotiator. 2.5, public employee discipline dismissal release. 2.6, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, and 2.7, student expulsions. Thank you, and back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Vice President Solera. Now we go to 1.8, recess to close session, and Christina will read the next sentence to the community. Thank you.
The board will now recess to close session. Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome for Stockton Unified District, our regular board meeting. Item 3.1, reconvene to public session. Item 4.1, Pledge of Allegiance, lead by Melinda Mesa, Director of Community Relations and Marketing. Back to you, ma'am.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mrs. Melinda Mesa. Now we have item 4.2, action taken in closed session by our Vice President Raymond Zuleta. Back to you, sir.
Thank you, Madam President, and welcome everyone to our board meeting this evening. Thank you for being here with us. The items that we considered in closed sessions are item 2.1. There was a motion to approve public employee appointment certified without the interim principal 2 position. That motion carried 5 to 2 noes. The 2 noes were trustees Flores and Maria Mendez. Next up, item 2.2, there was a motion to approve public employee appointment classified. That motion carried 5 yeses to 2 noes. The 2 noes were trustees Flores and Mendez. Next up, item 2.2, and there's multiple items here. The first is a motion to approve the settlement agreement in the Sandoval case. The motion carried 6-0 to 1. The 1 abstention was trustee Flores. Next up, there's a motion to respond to the lawsuit of Juanita Butler. The motion carries 6-0-1. The 1 abstention was trustee Flores. Next, a motion to respond to the lawsuit in the DS case. The motion carried 6-0 to 1. The 1 abstention was trustee Flores. Next, a motion to approve settlement agreement in the PERB case with CSEA 821. Motion carries 6-0 to 1. The 1 abstention was trustee Flores. Next, a motion to approve the settlement agreement in the PERB case with Operating Engineers Local Number 3. The motion carries 6-0 to 1. The 1 abstention was trustee Flores. There is a motion to respond to the lawsuit in the Raising Youth Resilience case. The motion carries 6-0 to 1. The 1 abstention was trustee Flores. There was a motion to respond to the complaint in the John Doe case. The motion is carried 6-0 to 1. The 1 abstention was trustee Flores. And last, we have a motion to approve the settlement in the Griffith case. The motion carries 4-0 to 3, and it carries. The 3 abstentions were trustees Rico, Flores, and Maria Mendez. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Vice President Raymond Zuleta. Now we go to item 4.3, order of agenda, and Abby will read the order announcements. Back to you, Abby.
This is the opportunity for the Board of Trustees to make any changes to the order of the agenda. Otherwise, the order of agenda will be as published. Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes,
thank you. I would like to motion to put, it's not just one agenda item, it's several. But let me give you the agenda items, and then I'm gonna give you the facts as to why. 6.7, 6.8, 6.13, 14.1. And I know that we have 14.6, 14.7, 14.8, 14.10, and 14.11. The reason I would like for this agenda items, with the exception of 14.6, is due to the fact that San Joaquin Office of Education has sent
an email on October 20th regarding lack of going concern, which this email was actually addressed and sent to the entire board and our interim superintendent, Dr. Tracy Miller. And then also, the agenda items should not have been placed on this board agenda in the first place. And the other concern regarding the other agenda items is that
Which item?
with the exception, all of them with the exception of 14.6, this is all the facts of why I would like them to be pulled, that the agenda maker, and it states that it was prepared by Armando Orozco, which I don't see him in the audience, but it was actually submitted by someone else from that department on October 13th. So my major concern is actually the letter that it was actually the lack of going concerns from San Joaquin Office of Education. Thank you. I would like second. I did the motion.
I second.
Thank you.
Any discussions, board members?
Problem here is that when we're pulling an item, we have to go by each item. We can't just vote on a singular, on all of them and say, we're gonna pull all of these items. We need to look at the merits of each one. And yes, Armando may not have done the final, but his predecessors followed it and released it. I can live with that. That's called business, and that's just the rules of business. What am I gonna do? Hey, the accountant died, but we still gotta pay the employees, and we're paying the employees. What do you gotta do? This person didn't get his paperwork in, but we have to get our paperwork anyway. So his predecessor, the person following up, doing their work, did that. But it is not grounds to pull it. It is grounds to look at it and discuss it as it arises. So I would suggest that we do that and not pull all of those items. And
I
I would
second that.
suggest you narrow your field at a minimum.
Can you repeat the,
Trustee Marie Mendez.
can you repeat the items that you pulled again?
The reason I'm pulling them, and it's actually their consent items and also action items, is due to the fact that they're actually contracts. And due to that letter, if you guys would like me to go in detail, I would definitely will be able to give you guys detail for the whole entire public to actually accept that. There's 21 pages of why I'm pulling them. It's concerning of why we continue having budget deficit.
Mrs. Tracy Miller? Mrs. Joanne?
Let me repeat agenda items 6.7, 6.8, 6.13, 14.1, 14.6, but 14.6 is not regarding this part, is something else that our interim superintendent needed to that item to be pulled. 14.7, 14.8, 14.10, and 14.11.
I will have to support Scott Bryan. There's too many items. And I would like to have a discussion and have businesses also let us know what is going on, and also our attorney.
If I may address?
You have the microphone?
I'm going to actually address the same concern that trustee Mendez has, even though because it's coming from Armando and the reputation that he left walking out the door with the sense of we have a lack of confidence in him. We already have investigations into the IAQ contracts. There's many things that came up missing under his watch. So I'm just thinking under his leadership, we should not be following his steps, because that would be continuing the same actions that got us in the mess in the first place. So I would actually caution us that this would actually be a good idea and show transparency and accountability on our end, that we are going to take a second look. And if we take a second look, then it gives due diligence to the work that we're doing.
Question?
Microphone is yours.
So then the question is how many of these that did Armando write and get forwarded? And we could take a look at those,
Thank you.
perhaps. I'm not gonna say
Joanne?
yes.
Can you see each one of the items and see which one have Armando Orozco or who is the one who did that item?
It was Armando and Amna that both no longer with the district that wrote these, what happened was it should have been brought on the last board meeting, but she got really sick, so she couldn't bring them forward. So a lot of these items were stuff they were working on and that we are just trying to catch up, so we don't have stuff falling behind or especially our parking lot. If we don't get that started, it's gonna be a mud out there by the time it starts raining.
Yes, it is. I know about the parking lot.
And then the one that's emergency where Marshall had a roof inspection, we had to get that fixed. So that's one that's on there. That's a ratification. And a lot of these that are on here are being paid out of a bond. So Measure C, maybe a couple are paying out of general, but most of them are being paid out of Measure C or are in the Fund 40, which is our capital outlay that we reserve for buildings when we're doing projects.
Comment?
Yes?
Why does it has also still states that it was created and prepared by Armando Orozco? Every single one of them, except for agenda item 14.6.
He was in the process of doing them, so we just kept moving forward after we did the research on it. So that's why we kept his name on there, because he was the one that originated it. We just had to finish it through.
Thank you for your response. Thank you for your response, because I can see, I have a lot of Marshall, it's a necessity that I have. And also the parking lot. They don't want the dirt over there. So I need to move on before the winter. But anyway,
Do we have any staff?
Mrs. Flores have the microphone now.
Do we have any staff here today that can account for the work that's being done there to like solidify that this is where the money is going and legitimate contracts? That's the concern. That there's no trust in the work that's being done by his name. It's tainted. And so going forward, as a respect to transparency and accountability, even if Armando started it, if you guys are the ones working on it and overseeing it, having your names might change the trust in the way that we do contracts, because then we can say, okay, you did the due diligence, you did the research, you did the work, you did the second checking. But right now, based on this coming from Armando, there is no trust and we can't validate the work.
Mrs. Jovan, did you went through all these items?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. That's all I needed to know.
I do have Thomas, who's acting as director, who
Yes, sir.
also has been involved in, we've informed him and he's helping us go through all the work that's kind of been falling behind and we're trying to get up. So if he needs to speak, he can tell
Yes,
you what he's
yes,
learned.
we would love very much for him to come in the front and speak. Thank you.
What's his name again?
Thomas Araga, he's also the director of food servicing.
Good evening, Superintendent Miller and Board Trustees. My name is Thomas Arganda. I'm the Director of Child Nutrition and Interim Director of M&O, at least 1 week old. So my understanding is 6.7, 6.8 are related to DSA inspections from an independent inspector agreement for the parking lot. 6.8 is related to environmental, the flat work, the pavement, the compaction of the parking lot. I believe the other items that were mentioned.
Take your time.
Okay. 6.13, Teeter, that one is for closeout of the Chavez and Adams portable project. Chavez, my understanding, it was held up for various reasons and so far has been released. And so it's missing DSA certification. And Adams, as it comes to its final stages, will also need DSA certification.
$14.1, sir.
14.1. 14.1 is the awarding of the contract to SB James for the Arthur Coleman parking lot expansion.
What exactly does that consist of? Like,
My understanding, according to the board agenda, that we've only had one bidder on the project. And so I believe the entirety of the project is it's a design. And therefore, after that, I guess we award a contract to the construction develop the plans if they're not already made. And stuff, I believe it went to formal bid.
So there was only one bidder?
That's my understanding according to the agenda.
Was there any other options for any other bidders? Because I know we're supposed to have a
Joanne,
minimum of
please,
3
can you
bidders.
respond? Can you please respond?
They put it out to bid and we accept what bids are turned in and they have a due date when they can bid.
So the way I'm understanding the process is if we only have one bid, we're supposed to put it out again a second time so that we can promote it and get 3 bids. Was that process followed?
Unfortunately, I could not answer that.
You can
I
answer?
cannot.
14.6, sir?
14.6 is transportation
That wasn't
related.
his, that was pulled.
Okay. 14.7 is related to Marshall restoration management due to the flooding, I believe, on April 21st. So work has already been done on that under emergency circumstances. Okay.
14.11,
14.11.
14.8, sir?
Oh, 14.8, okay. This is authorizing the notice of completion for the Adams project. Okay.
So on that one, I want to add is when we complete, we didn't use all the money that we had set aside. So this is also getting the funds back to us. We have about $1 million coming back to the district on this project.
And that's
Thank you,
related
Mrs.
to
Joanne.
14.10.
Now we have 14.10, sir?
14.10, as Ms. Juarez stated, that's the deductive change orders. And so that one is from the lease back, and that's money coming back to Measure C, I believe.
Thank you. 14.11, sir?
14.11 is related to, this is work already done on the Arthur Coleman Building for architectural services. And design services went beyond the initial services and additional aspects were added during the course. And so, of course, the architects are requesting the additional funds that were.
Can I add on to that? So what that was the change order we approved a couple of board meetings ago for items that need to be fixed in the building or put in place in the building. Now they're charging us for the service. We have to pay them for the service they're doing.
I remember those items. Okay, is any more questions about these items?
I am fearful. I have a question or a statement.
Mrs. Camarena?
I'm fearful that we're going to walk into this with attitude that we're going to say no if we even go back to these individually. So that almost makes me want to pull them because to a certain degree, they're tainted by conversation that may not be valid. My preference would have we've just gone ahead and looked at each item individually. And maybe we need to consider doing that, but then I have to ask myself, what is the ramifications of that? What is the cost going to be? How long is it going to, I mean, we certainly should be able to put this back on the next agenda. And I would hope my constituents would agree that if we look into it and make proper report, that we'll get it handled that way. Again, voting on them individually now might be a
I
problem.
need my items in Marshall. I really need that.
And maybe we need to go ahead with Marshall if you want to make that statement or that case, but I don't know about it. So I don't know about any of these ones individually personally. You do, so you could advocate. But I would say in general, I would say just pull them all, except maybe the one at Marshall, because you know something about it. And there might be another one in there. As far as the closed items, those are consensus. I would think that we would put them back on over to action items. You don't normally just pull a consensus and move it straight off the barrel. It's not usually done. It can be, but
So you want to pull all the items?
well, that was her request. And now we're hearing people thinking, well, maybe we should pull them. And
To also hear the answer of our CEO.
I agree. I think we're in good shape. I think we have done this correctly. So we have to ask ourselves, is this going to taint our vote? I think I can live with it, but it's a question I have to ask myself.
To us, if
I
we
want to
move
go forward.
them to-
I want to go forward, but we need to be careful.
that we-
Madam President, just can I have the floor?
Yes, you can have the floor.
We have a motion and a second to accept pulling these items. We can vote it as is, and if it fails, then we won't pull those items. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Okay, so Mr. Scott Brian, so this is what's gonna be. If they have a first and a second, if they pull all these items, all the items are gonna be pulled. Understanding?
That's if we vote to pull them.
Yeah.
I doubt I could do that, but just based on what I see here, but I want to warn us all, we might have a problem.
Everybody who agreed to pull all these items, say hi.
Aye.
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 No. No. Motion now we're gonna go to the agenda that was gonna be, and we're gonna go.
Hold on, we can, we can't, oh, sorry.
Hold on just a minute. Let my Vice President have the floor, please.
I'd just like to keep 14.6 being pulled. It was something that CSCA 885 that they had some concerns about. And in addition, they asked directly that they want an audit of our transportation department and the students that are taking the bus rides and the monies that we're spending on that. They were very explicit about asking for that, and I just want to make sure that I voice that for the community here. That came directly from our CSEA 885 Transportation Union.
Thank you. So now the motion is from to pull 14.6. I will second that, and we're gonna approve the rest of the agenda the way it is.
Trustee Flores has something to.
Trustee Flores, yes?
I would like to pull 14.9 for discussion. And
Yeah. 14.9 for discussion. Yeah, we're gonna discuss it when we go through. That's what it's gonna be through. Is it? Thank you.
President Mendez,
Yes,
just a procedural point, there was a motion and a second to pull item 14.6. So,
accept the rest of the agenda the way it is, and we're gonna, yeah.
okay, let me
And
correct
then-
myself.
and then there should be discussion specifically on this motion. And then there'd be a vote on this motion.
Actually, I was looking at 14, you guys got me distracted. So I'm actually want to pull 6.7, 6.8, and 6.13, which was already on the list, so 6.7?
That will be under 6.1 to move it from consent to action.
Okay, 6.9, 6.10, and 6.11 should also be on a separate, that should not be on a consent.
That's not the correct item. Can we wait till the consent agenda item to address those, please?
Okay, everybody to agree to pull in, pull 14.6 and remain the same the way the agenda, say aye.
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 Any abstains? Here none, motion passes. Now we have item 5.1, oral suggestions. Abby will read the announcement of the number of public comments. Back to you.
Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. Trustees, we currently have 3 comment cards for item 5.1. First comment card is for Ms. Sylvia Cantu, 1 card for item 6.8, 6.13, 14.1, 14.7, 14.8, 14.10, and 14.11. Thank you.
I missed 6.7 though. Okay. Agenda items are due to the superintendent October 13th. And agenda review is October 20th. This is where the changes should have been. On October 11, 2022, 2 weeks ago, agenda item 2.2, public employee employment classified. Government Code 54957, leave of absence, resignation, retirement, rescind employment offer, and appointment was on the list. And there was one for acting director. It didn't state for one position. Agenda item 4.2, announcement of action taken in closed session, if any. It was announced, motion to approve employment appointment classified without the acting director facilities position. Motion carried. So my question is, for the record, did Armando Orozco, Director of Facilities, prepare the following agenda items? 6.8, 6.13, 14.1, 14.7, 14.8, 14.10, 14.11. You're dealing with Measure C, you're dealing with Fund 40, and not only that, you're dealing with transparency. You have a person's name that hasn't been here. Not only that, on September 11th, excuse me, September 21st, this person sent an email to this board. And it says, as mentioned in my previous email, it was clear that SUSD is on a direct mission to destroy me and have me terminated simply because I'm not allowing corrupt and erroneous actions to continue any longer. What do you think he's going to do when he sees his name on here? And some of these answers couldn't be. He doesn't know what's going on. He might have started it, but he didn't finish it. And technically, there is no acting director because it was pulled on that. So that is my question. I'm glad to see that some trustees that you wanted it pulled and unfortunately the others don't. It's like intimidation around here. But once again, what do you think the state and all that's going to be looking at that you board? Oh, just because it has to be Pat, it's going to be muddy. Doesn't matter. You had agenda review. These people could have put someone else's name. It has nothing to do with trusting that person. It is an agenda item with this person's name that is suing the district. And he is saying that you're corrupt. And you're saying it doesn't matter his name is on it. We can just pass it because that is my point. That's all. So hopefully that you look at it and you pay attention because transparency matters. If it doesn't, then I don't know what we're doing here, right? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment.
Next comment card is from Paolo Enriquez regarding item 6.21.
At the Stockton City Council meeting on September 13th, 2022, Council member Susan Lenz expressed some of the concerns she had and some of the concerns she received from constituents about this facilities use agreement. She asked, so if our other members wanted to go into the micro library, they wouldn't be allowed? And the answer to that was, quote, during hours that the school district is present in the micro libraries, it would be serving as a family resource center, not as a micro library during those hours. So while I think it's laudable that the district is trying to get out into the community to meet people where they're at in order to provide services, it's coming at a price. And that price is in the form of lost micro library hours. And that isn't my personal characterization of the agreement. On page 2 of the memorandum of understanding, line 1.6 says, quote, city will evaluate district program attendance every 3 months of facility usage to determine if the district program use of sites is more valuable than the loss of micro library program hours. So there's an acknowledgement that library hours will be lost. Stockton Council member Paul Kanema suggested doubling hours at one micro library while the other is being used as a family resource center. And I think he means well. He was trying to make up for the lost library hours, but that doesn't address the crux of the issue, which is that for weeks at a time, these communities will not have library hours. Is there any way that the district can modify the MOU? Are there any other spaces or rooms within the community centers that could be used instead of the micro libraries? Or at least some of the so that it isn't exclusively library hours that are impacted. And I know that a request for a report about the program was made by 2 board members already, a report that will include the number of participants, the services provided, the outcomes, et cetera. So I wanted to ask that report be made public on the agenda when this program comes back for renewal in December. And if student services or family services or whoever is in charge of putting together that report, can you please also reach out to the city's Community Services Recreation Division, who manages and operates these sites, and see if they can obtain feedback from community center visitors about how they feel about the reduction in library hours. Are they supportive of it, and do they want to see it continue? Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Next comment card is from Harpreet Chima regarding item 6.7.
Hello, just want to say in the name of transparency, I'm just asking for a member of the board to put the letter that trustee Maria Mendez mentioned into the record so the public can also view it. Like one of the previous speakers said, transparency matters. The public deserves to know what's going on with our budget, with the contracts, and if it has to do with legal issues, if it's possible to put a redacted version for us to see, that would be fantastic. It just seems like the county is doing a lot of hand holding here. They've protected you from legal matters with regards to the Ramirez resignation. There's the issue with having to readopt the budget and the LCAP due to budgetary issues. And if this is another issue where the county is having to help you along, it would just be great for the rest of us to be included into what is happening. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Trustees, and this concludes public comment cards for item 5.1. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have 6.1, approval consent items. Abu will read the oral announcements.
Does any trustee have any item they would like removed for separate consideration as an action item? After any items are removed for separate consideration, there will be a vote on the consent items without any discussion. Thank you.
Trustee Maria Mendez.
Yes, microphone is yours.
I would like to move consent item into action. 6.7, 6.8, 6.9, 6.10, 6.11, 6.13, and 6.21. Correct.
Anybody second that?
I second.
President Mendez.
Yes. Thank you. We vote. Everybody who agree, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're
Any
voting for the
abstains?
rest of the consent items, and my
Yes,
vote
we'll
is
vote for
yes.
the rest
Thank
of the
you.
consent items. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 Motion's passed unanimous. Are we gonna go and talk 6.7? We need a first and a second.
Second.
Open for discussion. Open for discussion.
Trustee Maria Mendez.
Yes, the microphone is yours.
Thank you. Actually, I stated why this agenda item states that it was prepared by Armando Roscoe, but it was submitted by someone else from the department on October 13, 2022. As you guys want to discuss this, we're doing the discussion right now because we didn't pull it to make the proper corrections on the prepared documentation that is actually on this, that is actually reflecting on the cover sheet right now. Thank you.
We did talk about this item and you are correct, and we put it out in the record for transparency. Mrs. Joanne, can you reply to her again? You same words, thank you.
We just followed up. We were just finishing up what Armando had started. We were just trying to get to the process of him and Maman, that Amna that were completing the project. They just never submitted the paperwork. So we were the one finishing it through.
Any
But we
more
did-
discussion? Hear none?
Yes.
You got, okay?
Thank
The
you.
microphone is yours.
So, Ms. Juarez, were you given as or CBO or interim CBO for SUSD? Were you given a copy of the letter that was sent from the Office of Education to the board members and the interim superintendent, Dr. Tracy Miller?
The one about lack of concern? Yes, I was,
Oh, you did? Okay, when did you receive that?
earlier this week.
Okay, because it was actually sent to us 2 p.m. on October 20th. And that was before the actual agenda was actually published to the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Here, no more comments. Get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
Aye.
No.
Any abstains? Noes?
No.
5-2, motions pass. Now we have 6.8, discussion. We need a first and a second.
I'll do the first.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a first and a discussion.
Discussion.
Maria Mendez, the microphone is yours.
It's the same questions regarding 6.7. And just for the record, and there'll be also the same questions will reflect under 6.13. Thank you.
Madam President, can I revise my motion then? Because I'd like to motion for 6.8, 6.9, 6.10, 6.11, 6.13, and 21 to all be approved at the same time, since we're going to ask the same question.
Yes, thank you.
As a
Those are
future-
not all the same questions and we
Actually,
all have different
I
questions.
apologize. If you have other questions, then ask them, but I've just heard you guys just badger our CBO with the same exact questions, and now you're asking them again. So I apologize, but I wasn't even talking about you, Trustee Flores. Thank you.
No, 6.
How about
I-
first and a
I'm
second?
sorry, you can't tell me no about my motion. I'm just point of order. You cannot tell me no about my motion.
There's something else, and I do have different questions for those.
When they ask those, and that's fine, we can have the discussion. You cannot tell me no about my motion.
I'm not saying no to
I'm
your
just saying
motion.
you're out of
I'm
order
just
if you're telling me no about my
I
motion.
wanna
Thank you.
clarified that my questions of 6.7, 6.8, and 6.13 are the same questions. 6.9, 6.10, and 6.11. I have different questions for that. That's totally different.
You can ask them.
At the same time. We got a first and a second.
Why are you guys interrupting her then? If you're saying,
Because
letting her
first and a
ask the
second.
questions, but yeah, you're interrupting her.
You're interrupting right now. Thank you.
So my questions for 6.9, 6.10, and 6.11 will be to the maker of this agenda items. Why was this purchase order of August submitted at the end of the October for the board approval?
Mr. Joban,
Tony, can you come up?
thank you, Mr. Tony. Thank you. Please come to the podium and
He's
answer the
responsible for
questions. Thank you.
6.9.
Hello, Board.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Why was this agenda item or the purchase order barely submitted that is actually dated for the August one, but barely submitted to the board for approval on the end of October?
It takes us a couple of weeks to finalize the board report for the following month, so that is why.
Okay,
So just timing, I think.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
My question for 6.10, which is also the same for 6.11 to the maker of this agenda item. Why was this vendor payment reports for March through June and now July and August barely submitted to the board for the at the end of October for the board approval?
Mr. Joban,
I'm gonna have Willie Gutierrez come up to talk about that.
thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. Come to the podium, please, and answer the questions of Maria Mendez.
We have
Thank you,
received,
sir.
hello, hi. We have received a request to make a change to the report. So we went back to provide the details that were requested for all those months. We also did for the following item for this fiscal year. So now have changed the formatting to include more funding sources, also the vendor information, PO information, and we'll be using that format going forward. And also every month we'll be bringing forward that report.
Madam President, may I have the floor?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Willie, could you tell us which trustees asked you for those changes to the budget purchase reports that now you're bringing to us that now we're getting yelled at about?
We have received from previous management, we have received the request.
Thank you.
I'll be transparent. I requested this months ago, maybe even a year, 2 ago, maybe 3, 4 years ago when I first got on, we've been requesting this. So that's why all of a sudden we're surprised that now we're getting it in this format. So thank you for doing that 4 years later. You probably weren't here in that position. I don't remember at this time, but thank you for doing that. The only thing is that it shouldn't be on this labeled here. It should be a separate item and we're supposed to vote on it separately, not on a consent item.
Thank you. Thank you, mister.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Maria Mendez, the microphone is yours.
Yes, just a clarification, the motion from, it was to vote the 6.8? Even 2.21? Okay, I have my questions for 6.21. Thank you.
Thank you. We will answer the question for 621. Thank you, Dr. Bear.
What are the corrections on this MOU for the state of record? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. This MOU was actually approved at our last meeting unanimously. It was also approved at City Council. The correction is the city gave us the wrong map for Stribley. So we wanted to be honest and transparent and make sure that we had the right one. So under the guidance of Dr. Lipton, we just put it in as a correction.
Thank you.
Any more questions? In the item?
And I just want to make a point of record. There are no other additional changes. I want it on record.
On record, it went through Dr. Lipton, and I also have the emails from the city. That's correct.
Okay, so what we're getting today, the presentation today on this MOU has no changes from the last MOU.
The correction is in the map.
Any more questions?
Excuse me, I just want to make sure. So what you're saying here is all we're doing is making a correcting a clerical error. And I guess that means we're going to be required to vote on that.
Yes.
And and I do agree that maybe it shouldn't be put here. Maybe boy, that's tedious. I understand. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it is because it was actually referenced within the MOU and it said to look at this particular exhibit. That's the reason why the correction was put in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Here none. Get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Abstain.
Any abstains?
I said no.
We have 1 no, 1 abstains, and 5 yes. Motion passed. We have 7.1 recognitions.
That's voting for 6.21. Did we vote on the other ones?
We did that.
No, I'm not talking about the ones that were already approved. I'm talking about the ones that we're just discussing. So 6.9, 10, and 11.
That's why it was the questions asked. We have 7.1 recognition presentation. Mrs. Tracy Miller, thank you.
So during our fall break, there was some incredible work being done while some of us were home getting rested. Like people are shaking their head, not me, right? Right. But we want to just take a second and we want to show, can you stop for just a second? Want to show just a quick 2-minute video of the outstanding work that went on with Mary Rogers and her team. So we can turn up the volume.
I am so.
We can't hear it.
We cannot hear it. Can they raise a little bit of volume?
I am so excited to be a part of one of the best school districts in our region, Stockton Unified School District, where we are for the first time to provide intercession all break service for our students. It is so exciting seeing the little children come in, early in the morning and have a wonderful morning, a nice lunch throughout the day, and at the end of the day, and just being able to.
Okay, so I'm not sure it's the technology's working. Mary Rogers, come up here and just tell us what you said on that video.
To the podium, Mary.
Hello, everyone. Hello, it's a pleasure to be here. Hello, board members, and to everyone that's here. It is my pleasure on behalf of our expanded learning department, my team. I have to say that we are absolutely humbled and overjoyed to have been able to work with our wonderful Village of Stockton SUSD over 6 different departments, how we all came together over the fall break, 9 hours a day, Monday through Friday, providing services for our students, social and emotional services, physical safety services, learning, engaging, fun, just an awesome experience. I cried almost the entire week because I was looking at children truly joyful, happy, talking to parents who were saying, I didn't have to take off for the week. My children have a safe place. Wonderful, awesome community-based partner staff within our city came together, ensured that our students had, safe paraprofessionals supporting them for those 9 hours. Working with administrators who opened up the school sites, the facilities department, food services department, making sure our students are eating, the custodial department,
Early childhood department.
even health services and special ed, providing equitable practices for our students, making sure that we can meet the need of our SUSD students while school was out. Again, it was our honor. Also working with Stockton Unified
One thing I would like
program facilitators, absolutely awesome leaders to oversee the programs while our administrators and our teachers were, not able to work at that time. They kept the doors open and they led the program. So it was definitely a village. We are that village. And I just want to thank everyone for all of the input, the support. My direct leader, Dr. Baird, supported me throughout this process as well.
You're a college student, keep watching.
Ensure that our program was also safe and was very supportive.
Remembering the correct format.
Finally, I would like to acknowledge Mr. Justin Swenson, who was supposed to be here in the office, and he came out to the schools, to all 9 of our school sites, and he took pictures and videos. And he was there more than, like I said, here he was at the school sites and he was joyfully and he enjoyed himself. So we would like to thank him for helping put the video together and take the pictures, and also the director, Ms. Melinda Meza, his support as well. So we like to thank you all.
So stay put. Because of Mary and her team, the ELOT folks' efforts and Justin's stellar video efforts, and too bad we'll get it posted where y'all can see it easier. But we were Mary and her team were recognized at the state level by CDE for the exceptional work that was done this fall. So we just wanted to take a minute and say a big thank you, and we want to acknowledge you and your team. So we have some certificates.
Oh, thank you.
So
Thank
who's
you.
going to give Miss Mary? Okay, so we have Miss Mary Rogers, a certificate of appreciation.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
One more right here. And then if we could have Mr. Eric come up, who is the community service coordinator, mentor, and yay, Mr. Eric, come on up. Mr. Scott McBride is going to present you with a certificate.
Good to see you. I don't want to go underhand. Oh, how do we do this? Three students, there's only two of us today.
Okay, one more right here. Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Eric. And then Miss Dominique Ortega, Program Technician, are you in the house? Miss Dominique? Okay, so we'll make sure she gets hers. And then we have, if we could have Miss Melinda Mesa and Mr. Justin Swanson from the Media Department come up, please. Thank you again for your input and efforts.
How did you know I was a photographer back in? Okay, who's first? I'll follow up on individual. Okay. I'll follow up. Here we go.
Together and then.
There we go. Ready? 1, 2, and 1.
So thank you again, ELOP folks. Thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you and congratulations to everybody. This is a fantastic day.
President Mendez, can I say words?
Yes.
Miss Mary, I know you exited, but thank you for all the work you do for those students. And thank you to your team too. And I just want to say this to the rest who are present today here. When we decided to work as a team, we can see the results as a team. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, for coming. Eric Chuki for coming today too. Thank you. It's most appreciated everything you guys done. Congratulations to everybody who got the certificate. Let's work together to achieve our children's dreams, and that's what I'm here for. Thank you. Now we're going to 9.1. Approval the first reading for board policy 3314.3 administrator, the regulations 3314.3 and exhibit 3314.3 district credit cards. We need a first and a second to discuss this item.
I'll do the first.
Second. We have a first and discussion, a first and second discussion.
Discussion.
Maria Mendez, microphone.
Thank you. So my concern is the credit card holders, will they be able to utilize this to fuel their personal cars? And also to give tips when they actually go to and pay for the meal?
No,
How come it's not stated in that documentation?
because that's usually an expenditure process. We don't pay tips on anything. So if it did come across on an invoice or a expense report, we deduct it and it's at their cost. We won't reimburse it or we won't charge it to account. What we'll do is put it in an account to be reimbursed by the person that charged that on there, because tips are not allowed at all. Or gas.
Wouldn't it be better to actually put those actual words, the language into the this reading of the board policy?
I think we need to update our board policy on acceptable expenditures, because that would be on that. This is for the credit card on making sure that our invoices or your receipts come in correctly so we can actually get the bill paid.
Okay, so then the credit card board policy is going to direct to another board policy to actually, for people to look at that. I would like to clarify it so they can actually be in conjunction.
Tips and gas would be considered an expenditure. And so that's why we were hoping to update, we want to update our expenditure allowable expenses for the district. And that would be on there, on that list of allowable expenditures, which would associate with your credit card about what you can spend with district funds.
Okay, just as long as they reference one or the other, or so they can be cross-reference, so they can go back and forth. Thank you.
Yes, we'll put that on there.
Thank you. Any more comment? There none, get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 Any noes?
Abstain.
We have 6 and 1 abstain. 5. 502. Motion passed.
No, I voted yes on this one. Got it. Thank you.
Item 9.2, approval of first reading of the revision of the board policy 3310, purchasing procedures. We need a first and a second.
I'll do the first.
I'll second.
We have first and a second discussion.
Discussion. Sorry to beat you guys up here. Armando's name's on this, so are we gonna have his name removed? It's on here.
On the. Two,
9.2.
it's Tony, the purchasing manager.
Okay, any more discussion on this item? Here none, everybody who agrees, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstains?
Abstain.
502, motion passed. Now we have item 10.1, board committee reports. Abby will read the oral announcements.
This is the opportunity to hear any reports from board committees, specifically regarding prior or upcoming committee meetings. There will be a 3-minute limit per report. First report for City of Stockton Parks and Recreation Committee by Vice President Zulueta.
Thank you, everyone, for being here again, and good evening. We had our Parks and Rec Committee meeting last evening at 5:30 at the City Hall building. I got a couple updates just from recreation. There were fall harvest festivals that are going on all this week. There was one at Arnold Rue on the 24th from 5 to 8. There was one today at Stribley Community Center from 5 to 8. Tomorrow, there will be one at Seaford from 5 to 8. And then on Friday, there'll be one at Van Buskirk. Just to kind of close out the Concert in the Park series, there's going to be one that's going off this Friday. And then last week they had one at Angel Cruise Park, and they go off from 5:30 to 7:30 each Friday. This is the last one that'll be happening. The registration's open for youth sports this month. So they got indoor soccer, basketball, table tennis, FIFA 22 tournaments for esports and winter sports camps. And then there's a library card contest, and entries are due all the way up to the 31st. So you could either send a entry in through online, or you can go to our libraries and enter directly there. There's a Monster Mash event at Pixie Woods, which is our last day of the season. That's going to be this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for the community. And then just a couple volunteer events that went off September 17th and October 1st. There were 2 beautification events, and I'll bring a little bit of information at the next board meeting for that last one of the year. They're going to be working, I think, with... Sorry, I forgot which one that is, but there's another one that'll be coming up. Actually, there it goes. December 7th, 4 p.m. at Stribley Park. And there's going to be a quarterly meeting on Transformative Climates Grant. And then they'll also be working to put in a bunch of trees. In addition, there are 3 benches that are going to be donated. 2 are going to William Brotherhood Park, 1 from the Lions Club, and then 1 in the name of May Lillian Smith, which is a mother from here in Stockton whose family, does quite a bit here in the district. Actually, and there's a 3rd bench that's going to be donated for Alicia Reynaga, our student from Stockton Unified that we had our tragedy with this last year. On February 22nd, 2022, they're going to have a memorial for her there, and I'll bring some more information as it comes. That would have been the date of her 16th birthday. Thank you, and that's all the updates that I have for this evening.
Next committee is the San Joaquin County School Boards Association Executive Committee by Vice President Zulueta.
Good evening again. Our school boards committees, our CSBA meeting for the North Division is going to be tomorrow, 3:30 to 4:30. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the annual education conference that we all attend as board members. That's going to be upcoming in the next month and a half or so. And then there's also going to be just some presentations from some of our other Valley delegates, and then just talking about some of the best practices that we have. I'll update you a little bit more on what that information looks like and what those services that we're going to be getting at the annual education conference look like once we hear from our member services person. Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Next is 3x3 Committee by President Cecilia Mendez.
I would like everybody to, they're not here. We're gonna have the next meeting for the 3x3. It's gonna be in December. So we are setting up the day. I would like very much for people to come in and see in December what it is, the meeting in the 3x3. Thank you so much. That's my report.
Next committee is 1852 Foundation Committee by Trustee McBrien.
Nothing to report at this time, but we are going to have a year-end meeting coming up probably end of November or maybe as late as January, but I believe it is at the end of November, and we'll get that posted to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Now we got item 10.2, brief reports of the trustees' activities, and Abby will read the oral announcements.
This is the opportunity for each trustee to make a brief announcement or to give a brief report on their own recent activities at the district pursuant to the Brown Act, Government Code Section 54954.2A3. There will be a 3-minute limit per report. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to start from my left, and the first one will be our trustee in Area 5, Maria Mendez. Back to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here and joining us on tonight's board meeting. I am so pleased to actually announce that the Washington Elementary students and staff were extremely excited yesterday due to the fact that they were able to receive, as Marathon Petroleum came and distribute the string backpacks and the water bottles and the actual lanyards with the actual the school logo on it. So every single one of them actually received it. It was like saying trick or treat. It was extremely cute. I also pleased to announce that working with a partnership of surrounding organizations and companies that they're actually adopting Washington Elementary School by supporting them, by donating not only clothes, backpacks, school supplies, other items, which I'm gonna give you guys more details at the next board meeting due to the fact that we wanna have everything solid because they're gonna be receiving more stuff coming forward. Other organizations are actually giving out gift cards to the actual school site so they can go shopping for some of the stuff that actually the students need for the clothes closet and some other good things as well. But I do have one actual concern. I'm looking over and I'm actually seeing our student rep, but their student rep was not actually given the opportunity to cast their vote tonight on every single agenda item. I didn't want to put you on a spot, but because you did have the right to actually vote on that every single agenda item. And I do apologize on my part, myself. Well, thank you and stick around. Thank you.
Now we go to Zachary Avalar, Area 7.
No report for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it comes to me in Area 1, and I would like to thank the parents who invite me, who invite me to go to the park, and I was there with them, in front of it, of Franklin, and I was very happy with them. And even if they're not my area, they invite me. They wanted to just to walk around with me and bring me some of the views that they have. And in Marshall, I have parents very concerned about the safety of the children. It's getting dark now, and very concerned about the safety just walking, and they would like more the city of Stockton kind of join in with us and help us out, with more police going around there. That's about it, what I can say today. Thank you. That will be by Vice President Raymond Zuleta, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening again. Just real briefly, I've been having a couple of constituents reach out in my area, just asking about and talking about just making sure that we keep up with like the sidewalks, keep up with some of the garbage, the trash, the glass. We got a lot of students that are walking to and from school, parents and families, and we just want to make sure that our facilities and our maintenance, that they're keeping an eye out on that. I know it's not something that we can prevent in terms of everywhere stopping people from creating trash and junk on our pathways to and from school. But I think that, we can keep an eye out and make sure that, in those instances that, we're responding and getting those things attended to appropriately and efficiently so that our students don't, have to encounter that on their way to and from school. I just want to say thank you to Ms. Torres for continuing to reach out to me and make sure that that's an apparent thing that we're keeping our focus on. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. Now we go to Alicia Rico, our clerk.
Good evening again, and thanks for joining us today. And first, I wanted to thank Mrs. Vanessa Morales for being here today. Thanks for representing Franklin High. I'm so proud of you because it needs to be so brave to be here. I feel so. Thank you again, and thank you, Mr. Joseph Martinez, for being there when I get the support that I need for the students. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I've been visiting my sites. I've seen so many issues and another ones, everything's going so perfect. And I can say that this morning, a class made me feel, and I feel that I've been paid for what I'm doing. And it was so, I can say there's no price for seeing those faces happy. They saying they getting what they deserve and they gonna look for me when they need me. So those are the things that I need here from the students. And how I said earlier, if we work as a team to give those students what they need, we can see the change. How some Miss Miller said too, we don't want to be part of the problem. We need to be part of the resolution of the solutions. And sometimes we just create more problems than solutions. It's sad to say that, but it is true. So just keep working, just focus on the students, and yes, please, just put politics out of the district. That's what we need to do. And just focus on the students. Never forget about the focus on the students. They need us, and we are the voice that they need to hear. Thank you so much. And I have so many more to say, but Mrs. Vanessa said earlier, everything what I had to say about one of my sites. Thank you. And I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Clerk Alicia Rico. Now we go with Trustee Area 6, Escama Brian.
Thank you, Ms. Rico. We've been through some scary times over the last few weeks in this town, and I heard it in my home. I've got a 16-year-old daughter. We're making sure everything's locked up better, and things are now in a little better stead, we hope, after certain things have happened and people have been arrested. And so things are calming down, but we always have to pay attention to safety. I'm always concerned about that. I want to make sure everybody understands my end goal is to make sure there are locks and remote cameras that you can get out of your school with, so you don't have to just walk through without making sure somebody knows you came in and out of that school. We need to make sure that you can get in and out of a school safely, quickly, and properly. And we didn't do that in the past, and we need to do it now. And it's just clear as day when you go out and look at things that have happened and maybe what we could do. So We've gotten through some of those times, and thank you to our new safety person. Let's keep working on that. I also want to say thank you to the Native American Indian Center, the work of Destiny Rivas. She has assembled a project of Native American Indian culture. She didn't have space at the Indian Center, so much of that is being presented at the Family Resource Center. And come November 5th, Saturday, I believe 2:30 it starts. They will be presenting a Native American history cultural exhibit to help celebrate Native culture. Now, I'm not Native American, but my wife, my children, my family are, my grandkids, grandparents, some of them. And just to be sure, we need to respect all cultures, and I am proud to do that. I also want to say I went without my wife for a week because the natives stole my wife. I'm proud to say that they stole her because they took her to Oklahoma and gave her the benefit of training and help and knowledge. And I learned a lot from her. In fact, I learned that there is still a tribe that brags about Thanksgiving and how they helped the Pilgrims plant corn with fish. Yeah, I didn't believe that one. I just heard about that. So amazing stuff. I also had to learn to cook a little bit myself again, along with my daughter. It was a tough week, but it was well worth it. And so to the natives, thank you. And those of you that are native, please give us that knowledge and keep it going. And let's keep ethnic studies alive. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Scama Bryan. Area 6. Now we have the last one in the corner. That will be Mrs. Flores from Area Florida.
Save the best for last. I don't have much to say. I just want to make an announcement that the Mexican Heritage Center, the Mexican Heritage Center will be having a Dia de los Muertos event. It's usually pretty big and it's a block, all day event. You will not be, not satisfied with the event, and it starts, I believe, at 10 to 4, 6-ish. And also I took a visit over to Franklin School and took a walk around the ethnic studies classes. Saw some really amazing things that the students are doing. I can't wait to see it pumped up and supported even more. And then I also have a small concern. I've heard that our teachers are only getting a $200 supply budget for the whole school year. So if there's any way that we can take a look at that and fix that, because when we're wasting money and giving contracts freely to everybody else, but we're not providing the sources and resources that we need for our teachers, that doesn't make our teachers feel very welcomed and supported. Other than that, Halloween's coming, be safe. And thank you all for showing up and the dedication and the hard work that you guys give to our students and staff every single day. And remember, united we are strong.
Thank you. Now we go to 10.3, approval update, the schedule of the regular board meetings, date for 2022, request to be changed for November the 8th, 2022. Be November the 14th, 2022, the same time. I need a first and a second.
Oh, first.
I'll do the second.
We have a first and a second discussion.
Discussion.
Yes, you have the microphone.
Thank you. Why are we changing the date, which the date is actually on a Monday? And according to our board policy, board bylaws, it stipulates board meetings are on every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. Why a Monday?
Was requested. Requested for one of my colleagues, one of the board members.
So we're not following the board bylaw. I mean, we can change it, but it could be for a Tuesday, but not for a
Okay,
Monday.
it can change it, for Monday or Tuesday. This is our request, and that's why I'm here. That's why the person requested, like anybody requested, and it was put in the agenda. It's a respect.
Dr. Lepton, can you help us clarify that according to?
Mr.
our board
Lepton,
by-
yes, please.
Board bylaw.
Yes, thank you. The Board of Trustees has the discretion to change the dates of the regular board meeting. As trustee Maria Mendez points out, this would be an exception to the board bylaw because, well, any change really would be because this is deviating from the normal schedule. So the trustees should be aware of that if that's not already obvious, that in making this change, it's deviating from the normal schedule. But the trustees have the discretion to do that.
Is there a reason why we are rearranging our schedule for one trustee when there's 7 of us? And if that trustee can't make it, then we still make quorum whether they're here or not?
We still gonna take it for a vote. Like anything that we do, we bring it to the agenda, we take it to the vote.
Oh, we bring everything to the agenda? Huh.
Yes, everything is brought up to the agenda. Every request that you guys are made.
Trustee
brought up
Rico?
to the question.
Trustee Rico?
Thank you. Yes, Mrs. Rico, you got the microphone.
Okay, as they always ask for transparency, I call to change, if we can change the meeting, because that day is election day.
That makes sense.
And we need to people be present here for the meeting, right? But it's gonna be an issue, you guys can have it, we can have it on the day. The regular we have
No,
it,
it's
there's no
okay.
issue for
We're
me.
gonna take it for a vote.
Yeah,
Any more discussion in this item?
comment.
Yes, Mr. Scott Brian?
Yeah, I would like to make sure that anybody and everybody that needs to get out there to vote,
Yes.
gets out there to vote.
Yeah, I had to put in
And
person too.
if those are the people that go there on November 8th, there are people in this world that don't do what I do, or many of us do, which is vote by mail. But everybody needs to be able to get out there and vote. And if they miss that, if that's the way they do it, and for some reason they miss a vote because we're in session, I'd hate to think that. Plus, I want to see what's going on that day. I really enjoy watching the elections all across the country. It's a big day for me. I have never ran into this where I had to worry or think about it. So that's my preference, is to go the following Tuesday. Just in part because it is election day and I would really like to watch. I love watching the election.
Thank you. Any more discussions?
Well, it won't
Any
change
more
my
discussion?
situation. It won't
Any
change
more
my-
discussions in this
Yeah,
item?
you was the first one who bring politics inside.
Any more discussion in this item?
Discussion.
Yes, Maria Mendez?
If we're gonna follow our board bylaw regarding the meetings, instead of having it on Monday, can we have it on that Tuesday, November 15, because it's a Tuesday?
That's my preference, yes.
Yeah, I mean, instead of Monday, because November 14 is actually a Monday.
I had to attend a conference. As a new board member, I need to attend a conference on the 15th.
Thank you.
The district is not gonna pay anything for that. District doesn't have to approve that or pay any money for that. You can go on the website and check, everything is in there.
It's
So
an important conference.
We need a first and a second. Already we got it. Everybody who agrees, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any noes?
Abstain.
No, due to the fact that agenda item, which is on this agenda, 14.2, 14.3, 14.4 states that the second step will occur on November 8th meeting. So now that language is wrong on the cover sheets for those agenda items. Thank you. My vote is no.
Thank you. Ten point four, approval of minutes for October 11, 2022, regular board meeting. We need a first and a second.
I'll do the first.
Second.
Any questions? We have already first and second about the items. Here, no questions. Let's get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Who knows?
No.
No.
We have 5. 5 to noes, motion pass. Now we have 11.1, superintendent report by Mrs. Tracy Miller. Back to you, Mrs. Tracy.
Thank you. Good evening. We're at the tail end of the first 3 months of school, and Halloween is about here, which is always the beginning of holiday season. And those of you that don't know, Halloween is on Monday. So all those teachers and support staff on Tuesday, we're going to have some fun, aren't we? Everybody's shaking their head, right? It'll be fun seeing the little ones. One of our district goals is decreasing chronic absenteeism. I'm happy to report that we are continuing to see a drop. We have now decreased it by almost 15% from the same time last year. Last week, I was able to be over at Hamilton and saw some pretty cool efforts with Chavez High School students and Edison High School students that worked with the Hamilton students for the Hispanic Heritage Month. There was a fashion show, dancing, and it was all done by students. Some pretty cool stuff there. In case you didn't hear, or I know Zuletta talked about Trunk or Treat. The Public Safety Academy is having one tomorrow. So if you have any little ones, 4:30 to 6:30 over at Fremont Park, love to have you all there. Last week, we had one of our ongoing community conversations over at Edison High School for the Area 1 schools. We were able to have some really meaningful dialogue with both students and parents about their concerns and ideas regarding campus safety and engaging our students. Last week, I was also able to speak at local Rotary and got even some community members on board with us regarding our Purple Line pledge. October is Positive Attitude Month. So I was able to share some information with the folks at Rotary. And then it was mentioned last week, I was able to, there was the candlelight vigil for victims of violent crimes in our community. And it was a moment really to see us coming together, community leaders during this time that really has shaken our community. Last week was Friday was Wear Pink Day here in the district office to show support for our loved ones and family members and employees who have been impacted by cancer. And then I just wanted, we had our young man from Weber Institute, just an FYI. Did you know that if a student attends the Weber Academy, they can come out with 14 certifications right out of high school, right? Pretty cool stuff. So again, we have much to be proud about, and we're going to continue to celebrate the great work being done inside of our district. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Tracy Miller. Now we go back to 14.1, action, adopting a resolution number 22-31, awarding the leaseback contract S+B James Construction, California, for the Arthur Coleman Administrative Complex Parking Expansion Project. We need a first and a second.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve 14.1 and also 14.11 together. They both deal with the Arthur Coleman Administrative Complex. I figure if we got questions, we can go through those all at once.
Thank you. I will second that. So let's go make it a discussion. Anybody wants to discuss these items? Here none. Let's get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes?
No.
My vote is no, due to the fact that I stated my statement under 4.3 and also under consent item that was moved to action under 6.7. Thank you.
Now we have 14.2, adoption of resolution number 22-36, resolution to intend to dedicate a sidewalk easement at John Adams Elementary School campus to City of Stockton. We need a first and a second.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve 14.2, 14.3, and 14.4. Those are all sidewalk easements. One's at Adam, the other two are at Madison Elementary. And I think that would be appropriate for us to approve all of those in one.
Yes, I will
Actually,
second that.
I'd like to add 14.5. That's an update to the delegation for power signing contracts, but there's only one change to that, which is our new CBO.
Thank you. I will second that. Any discussion in these items?
Question.
Question? Microphone is yours.
Under 14.2, 14.3 and 14.4, why are we doing that? Are we gonna do that to every single school site? Or this is a special dedication? What is the purpose?
This is Joanne Suarez.
This was the one that we had discussed, I think, two board meetings ago. There's a two-step process, so we have to bring it as a resolution and then bring it as a public hearing. Amna was sick, so she couldn't do the second process, so we had to reinstate this. This is where we're taking piece of our land and building a sidewalk or putting a fire hydrant, and then the city will be responsible for all the maintenance on that. So we're dedicating to them, so they'll take responsibility for that sidewalk or the fire hydrant.
Any more
Okay, thank
discussion? Here none. Let's get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any abstains?
Abstain.
Any noes?
Abstain.
Four, yes. Two abstains. One absent. Motion passed. No. 14.7, ratification of the agreement with Restoration Management Company, RMC, for the emergency repair of flood damages by SUSD Marshall Elementary School. I need a first and a second for that.
Madam President, I want to make a motion to approve 14.7, 14.8, and 14.10 all together. They all deal with more construction management and restoration for our schools, Adams, Marshall, and Adams for portables.
Thank you. I will second that. Let's open it for discussion. Any discussion at the table? I hear no discussion. Let's get ready for the vote. Everybody who agree on these items, say aye.
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 Any abstain?
Abstain.
Any noes?
No, due to the fact that I did my statement during 4.3 and also during the consent item that was moved to action 6.7. Thank you.
Mr. Scott Bryan, you vote? Thank you. 5, 1, and 1 staying. 1 no. Now we have 14.9, approval of purchase of laptops, computers with Dell Technologies. We need a first and a second.
Madam President, I want to amend his motion, if that would be okay with Mr. McBride. I'd like to approve 14.9 and 14.12 together. These are purchases for Madison Elementary for furniture and then also for Dell laptops for our students.
Mr. Scott Bryan? Okay, it's an amended motion. Let's, 14.12. 14.9 and 14.12. We have a first and a second with an amendment. Any discussion on these items?
Yeah, I have questions on 14.9. Can we
Microphone is yours.
can we get a data on how many computers that we have? How many are being given out? Because we've spent, millions in IT and computers and calculators. And I've never been in a classroom where we spent that much money on calculators. And now Dell computers, which is a good thing, but I'm hearing that my kids in schools classes are not getting them. So what are we doing? Where are we at?
Thank you, Mrs. Jolen, to come into the podium.
Good evening. So this is specifically for our CTE pathways. This isn't the typical Chromebooks that we hand out to all of our students. So I don't have the numbers on all of those Chromebooks, but this is for 210 laptops and 6 charging carts. And these were configured specifically to help with our graphic arts and multimedia pathways classes because the traditional Chromebooks don't have the capacity to run those programs. So that's what this is for. And the actual final quote, because they kept trying to give us discounts, came down to $531,000. So we got some money saved. 531 instead of the 583. Yeah. Yes. And this is being paid out of Perkins and CTE money because it is for those pathways.
Any more discussions on each item? Here none.
On
Get
a,
ready for the vote.
wait. On a side note, Dr. Miller, can I set up a meeting with you and Nate so that this way we could figure out like what the budget is and where we're at on the CTEs as well? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Get ready for the vote. Everybody who agrees, say aye. Aye. Any noes? Any abstains? Motion pass unanimous. Now we have 1413, information on the business services office training.
Joanne?
Mrs. Joanne.
I'm gonna have Willie Gutierrez come up to speak about the training we're gonna do.
Hi, Mrs. Willie Gutierrez. Can you please come to the podium and just give us some information? Thank you, sir.
Yes. Just want to let you know that in the month of September, we've had our team of DWK, Dennis, Oliver, and Kelly provide procurement training for our staff. We've had pretty much each week of September provide various areas of procurement, whether it was bid processing, we received training for that. We also received procurement training for federal procurement. We've also talked about the public construction requirements. We went through that training. We had as attendees, various business services staff, purchasing staff, construction, maintenance operations, and child nutrition staff. We are currently also planning for the month of February, expand the training for various sites, departments, and that will pretty much take us through the entire month of February, 1 week at a time, talking about various purchasing processes. And the goal is to have something like this every year where we, update our purchasing procedures and provide training.
Any discussion? Anybody wants to get more information or? Thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Now we go into 1414, 15.1 is the student expulsion.
I'll do the motion to accept the student expulsions, Madam President.
I will second that. Everybody who agrees, say aye.
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 Any abstains? No? Thank you. Now we're going to 16.1, public comments regarding non-agenda items. And I think it's Abby who's going to help us with that. Thank you, Ms. Abby.
Trustees, we have no cards for item 16.1. Thank you. and
Thank
back
you
to
so much
President.
for everybody coming to the board. Thank you for all the directors being here and staff and union members. Good night. This meeting is adjourned.